This is the Kpop Cast, and in this episode, we discuss NewJeans, plagiarizing, old jeans, or just jeans. We also discuss the Burning Sun scandal in 2024, re-looking at that issue with a 2024 lens with new information. And of course, PDNM herself gives you the frontline updates from the HYBE ADOR Civil War.
We also share comebacks from BI, Solar, as well as Debakernats for the comebacks for 17 and IVE.
And maybe 21?
And maybe 21.
Optimistically, 21.
Maybe that was the teaser photo. Who knows?
Yes.
We can only hope. It was the only good news from this week.
I always enjoy hearing all your research, Michaela, on just like these breaking news items and also the scandal. You're the one actually doing all the homework, so thank you. I enjoyed hearing all of your perspective on these items on this episode.
Thank you. I will enjoy when it's all over.
All right. Well, before we get into all of those topics, don't forget to join us on the Kpop Cast Slack, where you can join other Kpop Cast listeners, talk about all the things that got wrong, and all the things they should be doing. Oh, I completely forgot. Correction for last week's episode. I got one thing wrong. Speaking of things I got wrong. Last episode, I talked about Sotaji and the boys and how they had this like live show recording where they dropped all these profanities referencing genitals. It turns out that was not actually Sotaji and the boys. That was actually, oh my gosh, who was it? Sheshkis?
Sheshkis.
But PDNM said. So thank you, Joe, for that correction. Yeah, I try to get these corrections in from time to time. So there. See, the reason why you can join the Kpop Cast Slack and you can get all these episode discussion with fellow listeners. And also, don't forget to help ship in for editing costs on the show to help us keep us going. We're definitely not making money off of this. But if you want to make it less expensive for us, you can click on the link to our Ko-Fi in the episode description.
And now for our hit replays. Hello, I'm Michaela.
And I'm DJ Peter Lowe, and hit replays are K-pop song recommendations that we recommend you check out. So, PDNM, kick us off. What's your song recommendation or your hit replay this week?
Yes, kicking off this week again with the best hit replay of the week. We're also got a theme right now of like solo hit replays, also soloists we haven't seen in a minute. And I'm kicking our hit replays off with BI's Tasty.
Run it, give me everything you got. My ice cream truck, people line run the block. It's tasty. Then open up shop, it's tasty. You look up airless drop. Run it, give me everything you got. My ice cream truck, people line run the block. It's tasty. Then open up shop, it's tasty. You look up airless drop.
Yeah, so the Hook King has returned to K-pop with this.
Wait, what is this Hook King reference? Explain that.
This is something from an interview that he did with PH1 for Hip Hop LE, and where he kind of refers to him as like one of the Hook Kings of K-pop, especially like the way he approaches writing music. Hook is always the foundation. Yeah, but he's come back, I guess. BI, for people who don't know, former Icon member, currently a solo artist under 131 Entertainment. His last few releases were like these really sad, introspective, kind of crying in the club bops, really. And I'm just so happy he's finally come to past that and like close the journal, and we're just getting to things to shake our asses to. Like nothing super deep. Like he's literally just like, hey, I'm the shit. Let's just dance and party and have fun. Like that's really all you get from this one.
Yeah, that was the first observation I had when watching this. I was like, oh dang, like the dances are really good in this one.
Right? And that was actually something he mentioned in that interview with PH1, that the fact that, again, the past two albums were very heavy. He was working really hard, probably overworking himself. And so this year, since it's the year before he goes to military next year, he just wants to focus on performance and having fun and getting chances to meet fans. And I think this is a really great kickoff to what I think is going to be a great album this year.
Yeah. I feel like it's in the same direction as Zico and Jenny's.
Yes. Yeah.
What is their song again? I forgot what it's called. It was my
Spot.
hit replay last week. Okay, Spot. There we go.
In the spot. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the same sort of like environment set for these two songs. This is like a K-pop summer of 2024 vibe.
Oh, definitely. Like he teased it as like a Pixar album in the sense that it's going to be an album that like the whole family can enjoy, like kids and adults. And so I think we're going to get a lot more summer bops from the album when it finally comes out, which not sure when, but we know it's coming this year.
What does 131 Entertainment stand for? Is that like an area code?
Does that, I don't know. Does that have something to do with pagers maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe it's like the thing for love or something. I know there's one number that means love, and it was like because people used to page.
Of like the sound it makes or something.
Oh, no, 143. 143 was like a number that people said meant love or something.
Okay. Yeah, Googling the number 131 right now. It's an angel number, apparently, according to the Googles.
Angel numbers. That's also another thing of K-pop.
So it's according to the Google, it's a sign of new beginnings and opportunities.
Which makes a lot of sense. Like this was a label that was kind of founded off of him and, you know, his, and then now they have a few other artists like Leo and the rapper Reddy, who have kind of come from similar tumultuous backgrounds.
Wait, is it 131 or is it 143? And what is 14?
It says 131 on the side of the building. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The one is 143
is just like another
Entertainment.
example of like those numbers that they use in Korean popular stuff.
It's super confusing because Icon is also a member of 143 Entertainment.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, right. 143 and BI's at 131. But anyway, check out the song, check out the album when it comes out. Peter, what is your hit replay for this week?
So my song is Solar's Colors.
So bad. I want a black and white one and a pink or purple. Black and white one and a pink or purple. I want a black and white one and a pink or purple. Black and white one and a pink. Doesn't matter. Kick it off, 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 kick it off. Bum bum bum. Kick it off, 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 kick it off. Kick it off, 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 bum bum bum. Kick it off, 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 bum bum bum.
Spelled without a U. Colors with a U is the album.
Wait, what? I did not notice that.
Yeah.
What's the scoop there? What's the why is there a difference between Western?
According to her interviews, colors with a U is meant to represent the word ours, in the sense that this album is supposed to include the diversity of colors that we can all express and represent.
So our friends across the Atlantic in the UK, they have a more inclusive spelling of colors.
According to Solar, yes.
Okay. Yeah, well, I think it's just interesting. So Solar, if you didn't already know, she's like firmly, I would say, but tell me if you disagree, like Gen 3 artist, like OG Gen 3 female girl group, a member of the girl group Mamamoo. And, by the way, her label mate, we had just had a concert here this last weekend. But, yeah, so she is a singer, songwriter, and actress under RBW. She is the leader and vocalist of Mamamoo. She made her debut single in 2020 with her song Spit It Out. And I don't know. It's been interesting lately, like on social media. She's been doing a lot of drag LGBTQ plus like associated covers. Like I'm thinking like RuPaul songs, like, and she just covers it on dances, and I think that got a lot of it. At least, I don't know, according to my social media feed algorithms, that got a lot of it attention, just because it was not the first, but certainly, one of the fewer instances of us seeing a K-pop idol recognize, celebrate, and participate in a lot of like drag music concepts and culture. So I thought that was really interesting. And so seeing her do this video, it's like, that's all it is. It's just like, a very drag centric song. And her dancers are kind of like the main spotlight, There have been like reels and shorts of this song where Solar herself isn't even in it, but it's just featuring her dancers. And I think that's saying something. And I don't know the makeup or background of the dancers, but they're not your stereotypical. I mean, nothing on your man BI, but they don't look like they're from BI's music video, which has a different sort of street urban. I use urban with air quotes.
Air quotes, yeah.
Look, so yeah, I for all those reasons, I like this song. Oh, it's got a good beat up too, of course.
And it's definitely it was interesting that she had a bit of a break, about like 2 years or so, and it was interesting that she came back with this sound, which was very different. I feel like she was kind of touching on this more like house voguing style with maybe her B-sides, but her color definitely before was more of like what you would expect from Mamamoo. So it's interesting now that she's coming back and like fully committing, like including ballroom like dancers from the House of Love in the project, and like really not just saying it's about diversity, but actually furthering the cause and helping queer people in the industry.
Yeah, I think maybe she was deliberately trying to hire queer dancers and faces to be in this. Something that was bothering me, though, is that it looks like she's got like very obvious hair extensions, but I could live with it.
Yeah. And the only other thing also, because this song is all in English, which is like, adds to the thing. But if you just look at it by lyrics, it does kind of feel like the AI version of like what an AI would think like a voguing song would sound like. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like there's no not really breaking any barriers as far as like lyrics go.
No. And I'm not the one, who has background on this. I mean, I DJ'd at a lot of like drag, K-pop themed drag nights for a number of years, but I would say I'm definitely not the background or the expert here to say more on it.
Yeah, but still love it. It would have also been my hit replay, especially from the album. And I'm really excited to see what she comes out after this.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like for a while, she was doing pole dancing, and then there was another hobby that she had in between that and this.
In pole dancing,
I feel like between that and her voguing, activity. I don't know.
I don't know. I saw her in the gym a lot with like the gym bro vloggers of Korea, I guess. I don't know.
But it's interesting. You can see like her personal journey, like how she eventually came here.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh. Although you reminding me that she does pole dancing makes me really want a really epic stage for this, for like some award show or something.
Oh, where there was other pole dancers on the side or something.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, pole dancing is really gnarly.
Let's do it.
Yeah. If there's anyone to do it, she's the one to do it too. Okay. So moving on to K-pop cover dances, or top 10 most covered K-pop songs of the week, brought to you by kpopdances.com. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so number 10, we've got Twice and their song One Spark. Number 9, we've got TXT Deja Vu. I have not actually played that song. No, I have, though. I take it back. Someone did ask for that, did request it. I did play that song, but it's just not as popular as I thought it would be. Number 8, we got Yocha Idol Super Lady. And number 7, we still have Espa Drama on the list. Number 6, we have Le Seraphim Easy. Number 5, I've Heya. Number 4, Le Seraphim Smart. That song's so popular. Number 3, Baby Monster Sheesh. And PDM, I know you got the last 2. If you had to guess, what are the last 2 most popular K-pop songs most covered by K-pop dance covers?
I'm assuming Magnetic. I think though
Yes.
Magnetic is number 2.
Yes, you're
Okay.
correct. And what's number 1?
Oh, is it 17?
Oh, tragically, no. 17 Maestro is number 12 on this list. So
Oh,
they're like way
barely
down there.
Okay. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
17 covers are hard to do. But just not as viral, I guess. So, yeah, you want to take another guess at what's number 1?
Oh, it's Espa. Is it Espa?
Espa Supernova, no, that was number 11
Oh, damn.
on the list.
Okay, so we need to wait a week for them to catch because those just came out.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, it may change a lot in a week because, all the dancers need time to learn and perform and shoot the choreography. But
Organize outfits, things like that.
yeah, so number 1 at 85 covers this week is Kiss of Life
Oh,
and their song Midas Touch.
see, my problem is that was a not for me, so I keep forgetting that people really like this.
Oh, yeah, it is. I had 2 gigs this last weekend and I had people dancing to that song at both of them. So, yeah.
Yay, Kiss of Life.
Yeah, they're having their moment. This is probably their most popular song, right? I mean, they had popular songs, but this one seems to be...
Yeah, like it's breaking the international fandom as well as fandom in Korea. Like they're starting on a really big uptrend this year.
Yeah, yeah. I learned the choreography at one point. So anyway,
Your
up
own
next,
dance cover coming soon then?
No,
Okay.
no. I just kind of learned the basics of these things so I can dance around in the DJ booth while DJing, so people have something to look at
At least
rather than
the
just
points.
me just staring at my laptop, turning knobs, which is not very fun to watch. So, okay. And now,
As the room shakes.
reporting in from the front lines, beating him, our wartime correspondent from the HYBE and ADOR Civil War.
Yes,
So,
reporting from my underground bunker near the HYBE building.
yeah. So where are we on this day in the Civil War?
Yeah, so we've got a few updates from what we talked about last week. First update is we have more people speaking out and actually making official comments about the situation. So our first one is Mr. Bang PD actually coming out and making an official comment about the matter, basically saying that no matter how sophisticated the system or thorough the contracts, human malice cannot be completely prevented. Saying that it's the strength of our societal systems to prevent individual malice and misconduct from dismantling social institutions and order.
What the heck was he going with that? Like,
I'm really curious what you think, Mr. PR professional.
that's not helping anyone. Like, at this point, you just kind of wait for the legal dispute to sort out, and you let that run its course before commenting further. This is just casting shade for no reason. Like, no matter how hard the system or thorough the contracts, human malice cannot be completely prevented. That's more, even if you won, any legal proceedings, you're to say that after, that would look cheap. You're not taking the high ground there. That's you just being well, some people are really shallow.
Right.
What? Come on now.
Yeah, it's very petty, in the most legalese way I think you could say it, right, without officially calling out anything specifically. Because again, this is his comments, not necessarily HYBE's comments about the situation.
I feel like we missed stuff last week just because we didn't have you on the episode, Michaela. Like, what are some? I don't know if you had a chance to listen in, but are there any things you think we missed or that needs worth saying?
Well, for what we're talking about specifically, there's a big shareholder meeting that's going to be happening on May 3rd at the end of the month, where one of the major things on the agenda for that is the discussion of the replacement of Min Hee-jin from ADOR.
Because she's clearly out. They're not gonna.
This is again like that's what they're going to be voting on. They already have her replacement picked out allegedly. So recently, Min Hee-jin filed an injunction with the courts, basically trying to prevent HYBE from doing this, from voting her out. And this leads us to our next speak out of this week is NewJeans actually officially stepping into the ring and filing a petition with the court related to this injunction that Min Hee-jin filed, like to prevent HYBE from voting her out. We don't actually know what is in this petition, but we can guess that from everything that's been coming out recently, especially with their parents getting involved, that it's going to be favorable toward Min Hee-jin and voting for them or petitioning for them to not vote her out and remove her from ADOR.
Wait, who's petitioning whom?
So
Sorry.
NewJeans members submitted a petition to the court, and in addition to or related to this injunction from Min Hee-jin, this injunction asking the courts to prevent HYBE from voting her out of ADOR.
So NewJeans wants Min Hee-jin.
That's what we can guess, basically. We don't actually know what was in this petition that they submitted.
But it sounds like a decision has already been made by HYBE.
Yeah. But that's, again, if this injunction that Min Hee-jin puts forward actually does anything to prevent it, who knows, maybe. But as of right now, the motions are still just to kick her out. And allegedly, NewJeans members don't want that to happen.
So sorry, I didn't add this to the outline, but one other thing I saw pop up in social media that seems not well sourced or verified, but apparently member Minji of NewJeans was spotted working at a Nike store in Gangnam, like working a normal job.
So allegedly she's like, NewJeans is done and they've already tried to find 9-to-5s to like.
I don't know, but that's there's this like challenging dynamic being an idol, right? Like the point of being an idol a lot of the times, especially if you're going by the old school paradigm, is that you're inhuman, right? You're not a regular person. You're like a
product,
demigod. Like, yeah, sure, a product, but like almost like, there were the Greek forms, like, like if you had to distill the concept of an idea into its like purest shape or form, that's what that thing should be. So like, idols are like, the Greek versions of the forms, like the distilled version of what like a perfect human being or like a demigod should be. So along with that, when you see them working these normal jobs, it kind of removes a bit of that magic, or that like unreachable status, because you're so much into the business models about trying to get access and attention of that idol. But at the same time, if your label's not doing well and you're not getting paid anything, that's you got to make do. And it's not the first time we've seen this, right? Like,
no. I mean, every year we get this as an examples of idols going into military service, especially male idols. Like that's the weirdest thing for me was like Taemin, who is like an ethereal being, just doing a 9-to-5.
But military is different than, I think, working like a part-time job.
Yeah.
Right? Because military service is seen part of your like
obligation
Yeah,
of
and
society. Yeah.
your duty to your country, right? But this is different because it's like I need a minimum wage job.
Yeah. It's more of a sign of like a failure of a career versus something you have to do.
And that and that you may not be succeeding as an idol, that you have to do something different. So the fact that one of the world's most popular K-pop groups has an idol working a minimum wage job, that's not a good sign.
Unless it's like part of a reality show or something like that. Like that's what I would
That
hope.
hasn't published yet. Like we're gonna see
like
it.
she had to experience, I don't know, working at a Nike. Maybe it's part of a brand deal. Who knows?
With Nike,
Yeah.
yeah, we could hope, but I don't think we've seen an official statement on this yet.
No, and I haven't seen anything else either. So I'm gonna assume until further notice that that's what it is.
Because like, surely even with the disputes going on, NewJeans are being compensated well.
We would assume. I mean, they just had a comeback with what was it, Bubble? Right, I think that was a song. So I would assume that they're still at least under contract for that album cycle. So they're still making money off of that.
And like, when do they have time? Because like, it's
Right.
she could be making a lot of more money doing other things just through her image, So I really hope it's not true.
Right. That's all we can hope, especially. And that's the thing. We won't really know until the end of the month. Like, things are really still up in the air until the end of the month when they actually have the shareholder meeting and we see if she's actually ousted from the company.
Okay, so HYBE ADOR K-drama. Who would you cast as Min Hae-jin?
Oh, damn. That's so hard. I don't know, probably her as herself. Like, if she's out of a job, she'd do it.
Yeah. I think, what's so funny? Wasn't it leaked recently that there were texts that came out of recordings of Min Hae-jin?
Oh, yeah. So
saying that, go ahead.
there was a YouTuber who was a former journalist named Lee Jin-ho, who on their YouTube channel made a video. They weren't like the official like screen caps, but they were kind of like edited versions of what allegedly these chats were, where Min Hee-jin was describing allegedly that NewJeans were like fat and were like miserable elementary school kids and like toddlers, like really, really like negative stuff towards them. But Min Hee-jin commented that, she doesn't feel like she has to address this because it's so clearly fake. And saying that it's not something that people who know me or how I make jokes or who I am as a person will be able to judge, and that anybody else who faces the wrath of HYBE's editing scheme could come out looking horrible in that situation. So allegedly claiming this is just an attack from HYBE's side against her.
A manufactured disinformation attempt.
Yeah.
Wow. My gosh.
But I don't know, the fact that she talks about like the way she makes jokes makes it feel maybe it's not necessarily like, maybe it is something that is being taken out of context, though I don't necessarily know like where in context like calling like making fun of minors is like something that you can really put in context in a good way, unless they really have like such a close relationship, like she can call them all these things.
Yeah. So going along with the leaked transcripts, I think there was other alleged accusations of engaging in illegal insider trading to drop HYBE's market value. So her threatening to say like, oh, if I went out with this would really screw your stock. And that being her goal, she was trying to create this big legal dispute primarily to drop down the stock of the company. I don't know if you read anything on that.
That is what is alleging. What at least the HYBE side is alleging was happening was that there was a scheme of of some of her approaching other people to buy shares and be able to use that as leverage against HYBE so that she could get majority share of the company. Although Min-hee-jin says that this is not the case, that all of these meetings that she was having with people like from Naver and Kakao and things like that weren't business meetings, and that she, according to how her contract is set up with HYBE, was in like a slave contract and she couldn't even leave if she tried. So she, from Min-hee-jin's side, they say that wasn't the case at all, and that the audit was just a reaction of her trying to whistleblow against the company so that she could get about all the injustices that she was facing, as well as NewJeans.
It's really hard to track this story, and like there is so much like it sounds like disinformation. Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. Going around. Yeah. And with that, it is incredibly hard to figure out like what's real here. Like we need more verified sources here, because right now it sounds like all the sources are primarily being manufactured. Mm-hmm.
I guess we just need to wait for the BBC documentary about this to find out what happened.
The BBC documentary, like 4 years later.
Yeah. Or maybe even 5 years, who knows?
Yeah.
Speaking of BBC documentaries, Peter, right? What is your how you think for this week?
Hot issue? Yeah. So my hot issue, how you think? Probably a trigger warning around this.
Oh, definitely. Related to assault and SA and
it's like
yeah,
death and suicide.
Yeah.
So the BBC
Burning Sun is a topic that we've covered on the show before, but it's coming back in the news recently.
Yeah, we've covered that topic a lot of times on the show, like over the years. But the BBC recently put out an hour-long feature just yesterday, talking about the Burning Sun scandal. Written for a non-K-pop audience. So yes, this does fall into the dark side of K-pop, sensational Western journalism that we often get. That said, let me add another caveat that, like, as a Westerner, I am not an immaculate Jesus. It is not to say that, we don't have these issues over here as well. I want to acknowledge that happens over here as well. So, everything associated with what you're hearing around the Burning Sun scandal. We're not immune to that. So with those caveats put out, I want to say that this BBC documentary is really well done. I really liked it because the focus of the story is on the female journalists and the female sources who came forward. That's like, yes, it talks about the Burning Sun, but this documentary in particular takes a really strong focus on those protagonists, so to speak, in the story. And it just kind of shows you the adversity and the lengths that they had to go through to get the story out. And look, I'm hearing about it through the dark side of K-pop, version of the story. And, I'm got my interpretations and read of the situation. But in watching this documentary, it's just like all the challenges and adversity that the female journalists faced, as well as the female sources faced. And Guhara has a very big spotlight in this documentary. Like they show how this would not have gone through if they didn't have Guhara helping confirm a lot of the sources and details and doing some like basically pretending to be a friendly to get access and confirm if the police was in on the plot, which she successfully did for the journalists and was able to spark the investigative journalism news cycle on the story. So if it weren't for her, we wouldn't have all these things gone through. But seeing that Guhara, passed away, and that FX is Suli, and that this also started getting wrapped up in the broader gender politics in Korea, made it seem like any legal proceedings that asked for corrective disciplinary measures on the offenders was like a slap on the back of the hand compared to all the legwork that all the people that had to go through to prove their case to go through. So it hardly seems fair. Again, I want to acknowledge my bias and all those caveats I mentioned earlier as like a Westerner kind of reading and consuming the story. Mm-hmm. But that was kind of my read on this big story, and it's still worth watching this documentary, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, like even us who've been following this since it started, there was so much new evidence and voices, and again, we knew that Hara was connected to it in the sense of like helping incriminate basically people that were her friends, but we didn't know the specifics and how pivotal her role was to actually getting these convictions and starting the whole explosion of the Burning Sun scandal in 2019.
Mm-hmm. We probably should have started with this, but should we give like a quick rundown for like new listeners and everything of like what the Burning Sun scandal is? Like,
yeah, so if you summary. Very quickly, again, we have other episodes that go in more depth, but to give you very, very short cliff notes, Burning Sun was a club. It was established and owned and operated by Seungri of Big Bang, and they used basically this club as a front to
prostitution,
sexual assault, group assault of intoxicated women. They would film these women and basically create revenge porn of them so that they wouldn't be able to go to the police. And if police were involved, often they actually had connections. Specifically, this is why it was such a big deal for Korea, because there were so many corrupt senior police officers involved in covering up all these crimes from celebrities as well as just more like wealthier individuals. So we had Seungri obviously connected to this. We had specifically Jung Ju-young, like his connection to this is kind of really what sparked it, because in 2016 there was a ex-girlfriend that wanted to convict him of revenge porn, but she was silenced and even pressured by like KBS producers to stay silent and not incriminate him, and he got off. But because these amazing journalists kept pushing the issue and finding these links and working with people like Hara, they were able to find these connections to all these corrupt officials and actually incriminate them. And that's what the Burning Sun scandal basically is.
Yeah. On that first incident in what was that, 2015?
2016.
2016.
Yeah.
The first female reporter who did that story, she got a lot of accusations put against her in questioning her character for trying to file this story. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was interesting. Like in this BBC documentary, you hear her talking about it as a journalist, and you have to take yourself out of the K-pop fandom for a moment,
right? To
give an audience for the targeted audience for this documentary, and she had to explain that she was being basically attacked by the fandom for putting this out. So that's another layer that she's fighting against.
According to the public, this was just he wasn't an idol, but this was a very popular celebrity who was on like one of the most popular shows at the time, who was being accused of something he had nothing to do with, and he was able to maintain that pure-ish image of somebody who would never harm somebody.
Yeah, it is so interesting. So the common thread, right, of all maybe it's not common across the board, but I think a big perception shift around this scandal is just that all these like male K-pop idols were seemingly having this very innocent, bright persona on camera.
Yeah.
And then you find out that they're all like joking about like raping women and
actually not just joking, actually doing it.
Right. And sharing footage, group texts with each other. It's really disgusting.
Yeah.
So you don't actually know your idol. Like, again, going to these like parasocial relationships that, you know, we think we have with these idols, like you're in love with the character, but the person may be very different.
Yeah, you know, there will still be factions of the fandom that will come out and support all of these men because of at least to me, because of that image, not because of what they have actually been accused of or actually have done.
But what you're saying is because there's still fans who like the character.
Yeah.
What they fell in love with. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard. And it's why we're all kind of second guessing Kenna for dating one of the members.
Yeah, although he was not in any way convicted or accused, he was just somebody that was connected because he knew all of these other guys. There was no necessarily...
I thought he was on one of the group chats of...
He might have been in the group chat, but like I said, there was no case where he was actually, you know, there was any actual charges pressed against him because of things that he was doing in the group chat. But he as well as one of those people that was deeply connected to it.
I think it's also interesting just as someone, you know, who works, who does a lot of DJ gigs in nightclub settings. I've definitely seen and heard about a lot of unsavory stuff when I was doing like more top 40 hip hop gigs. But ever since we like K-pop, it's all, I don't know, maybe I'm just like blissfully naive, which is a good possibility.
Yeah.
But it's all been above board. And what we're seeing in like the Western US market, it's like all local nightclubs are kind of dying right now. We're seeing like the slow demise of nightclub as an activity, as a society that we, you know, don't really participate in anymore. So it's becoming less lucrative. And, you know, for these K-pop nights, the margins aren't great. Like, you know, we're talking between like $400 and $1,000. So it's like, that's not a lot of money for a night. So
It's compared to like what would be a very successful, if 400 to 1,000 is.
In terms of like how much a promoter would make from a nightclub event?
Yeah, just I guess I'm just curious as to like what, obviously that's not, but for example of like a very successful event, or at least what comparatively the scene was like before.
Well, I mean, you'd have to take inflation into account.
Oh,
but,
right. Never mind.
And it depends, like, you know, how big the venue and it is and whatnot. But like, you know, a good night nowadays would be like, I don't know, like 4,000 to 12,000 a night at like a medium to large venue that you get from ticket sales or like above a bar minimum, like above a minimum of people buying drinks at the bar or whatever. And usually the minimum for a lot of these venues is like, you know, $4,000 or $5,000. So like people need to be buying a lot of alcohol. Anyway, I bring that up because it just shows you that in order for these nightclubs to make money, they have to resort to a lot of these like unscrupulous, really unsavory ways of making money. And so with the Burning Sun Club that Sungri put together in Gangnam, it was trying to be like the number one go-to, you know, ultimate club in Gangnam. And it was a way for foreign business leaders as well as, I don't know, other investors to make money through abusing women in these like backdoors. And, you know, for cash business, that's how a lot of these unsavory things happen.
And again, because this is talking about a scandal that broke out in 2019, but I think especially the journalists, I believe, are quoting like, you know, this is the sun is still burning. Like there's still the things that happened to hold all these people accountable. Yeah, they might have made some progress for Korea as a whole, but there's still a lot that needs to be discovered and addressed.
Yeah, at the end of the BBC documentary, they say, one of the sources they quoted said that this continues today. Nothing has changed as far as clubs in Gangnam. So further change and policy needed. Seungri, who was convicted and sentenced to 18 months, is out and free.
Yeah, this year, right in March.
Yeah, and or I guess he's had moments where he was able to leave, or whatever. But like I don't know. I saw reports of like multiple women dating him post conviction. I'm just like,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go check out the documentary, guys. It's great.
If we haven't painted too dark of a picture for you.
The other how you think that was, going around the timeline this week was the emergence of old jeans versus new jeans, ? So one of the things that came up again with Min Hee-jin was the fact that she thought that HYBE had plagiarized her concept of new jeans with Eyelet's concept. And so a lot of people were, examining exactly what her plagiarism would entail, or at least what she was alleging like her concept was, and going back to other examples of this exact same concept done years before, specifically with a Mexican girl group called Jeans that came out or debuted in 1996, who has a very similar style. Even the font is the same, like the dance moves, the fashion, the album artwork. They also had like a similar bunny theme in one thing. So it was a pretty damning little post that was going around Korean netizens spaces
and the Western social media as well. I would say like on Threads, Twitter, Reddit.
Yeah, but the sources, I'll link back to the specific post on FM Korea where somebody was, putting all these like side by side photos of like, look at their hair, look at their fashion, look at the font, like it's
font
the
of this
same.
Album color and
or similar.
Like the same outfit, like the same like bandana top. Like you have to be a really tiny skinny person to wear, but like like in both instances they were wearing the same outfit. So I was talking to Remezcla editor Alexis Odoyan, who is also the co-host of It's a K-Pop Thing. We were just chatting right before this episode. I'm like, oh, you just wrote a piece on this. We're going to talk about this in the K-Pop cast in 5 minutes. You want to like send in a recording? She sent me a recording. I listened to it. I'm like, oh, those are really good thoughts. I didn't realize it was like one of those disappearing messages, so I didn't save it.
Oh, damn.
And so Alexis graciously re-recorded it like just now. So here is what she had to say.
Hi K-Pop Cast, this is Alexo Yangastelum, music editor at Remezcla and co-host of the K-Pop podcast, It's a K-Pop Thing. Today I'm here to talk a little bit about the whole controversy with NewJeans and whether they copied the Mexican group Jeans. And as the resident Mexican friend of the pod and 90s baby, I'm very well equipped to be talking about this topic. Essentially, is it a copy? In my opinion, no. It's merely an ode to the 90s. Jeans were the quintessential 90s and early aughts group in Mexico. When they debuted, they were very, very young. It was like the mid-90s. They were tweens. They were all tweens. Between their youngest member might have been like 11 or 12, and they went all the way up to 15. They grew up together. They grew up with their audience, and their music and their style was very much catered to girls their age and a little bit younger. Everything was very PG. Their music talked about, like falling in love for the first time and like the boy that they had a crush on, or like wearing your sister's jeans. It was very innocent, but they were like the it girls. Everything about them was, in a way, you could say that it was very K-pop in that it was highly conceptualized and stylized. So if you think about the 90s, of course there were the girls who were like at the forefront of fashion, and they were using everything that you would now think of as iconic 90s styling. So if you think about it now with NewJeans, if their concept were to be 90s, those would be their references. Not because jeans did it, but because that was a 90s reference. That was what girls in that time wanted to look like. It's like right now, a lot of people wish to look like NewJeans, but the clothes that they wear aren't as attainable, you know? So in the 90s, we all wanted to dress and look like jeans, but our parents would have never let us dye our hair blue or wore makeup. And they were simply those girls. So I don't think that there was a decision specifically to copy jeans, but were they in a mood board somewhere? Probably. But I think some of the claims being made, specifically on Twitter, refuse to call it X, are a little bit ridiculous when they're pulling specific looks or even moves, because I don't think how proprietary is a conga line, for example, or wearing a very tight combo yellow top end and a skirt. It's just a reflection of the times. The similarities that I saw, or that the people were pointing out as evidence of the plagiarism, to me as a Mexican, I felt like, oh, that's cute, you know, that like now there's someone out there in Korea who maybe draws some inspiration by jeans. That could happen, but I don't think it's a copy. I don't think it's a direct copy. And throughout history, people are all like, what is original anymore, you know? When Britney came out, everyone said that she was Madonna, and it's always gonna happen. You know, Mariah Carey, Ariana Grande. There will always be comparisons and claims of copying, but at the end of the day, let's just enjoy the music and the looks, okay? Anyway, that's it for me.
All right. Thank you, Alexis.
Yeah, thank you.
So in other words, jeans were a product of their times.
Yeah.
And NewJeans is copying that time as a nostalgic concept.
Yeah, and it didn't really help that they have very similar names. I think if they didn't have similar names, I think there would be less specifically plagiarism accusations, because it's like you just said, it's all about the aesthetic of the time that NewJeans is doing.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like when I was looking at the very carefully hand-selected side-by-side photo comparisons, like
this one specific hair flip that they all do is exactly the same.
Or for me, it was the text, the font, like jeans and new jeans and jeans, like same font, same stylization of the font, but in different colors. Like I was like, okay, you know, NewJeans clearly saw the jeans material, and they did. But it sounds like, you know, it was very different. I don't, what did Alexis mention it? But when we were talking earlier, she was also saying like, jeans was also like the young girl versus like Spice Girls, where it's like adults, you know, being the idol. So I thought that was a really interesting dynamic that Alexis experienced as just, you know, watching entertaining pop, consuming pop in the 90s. That was an interesting dynamic. But I guess in K-pop, that's all it is. It's all just kids performing pop.
Well, we would say that there's a slight shift now, and with our 30-something and 40-something and even 50-something idols coming back on the scene every now and then, or
Super
who
Junior.
still have careers. Super Juniors, Shinhwa.
Oh, speaking of, sorry to like totally throw the agenda for a wrench, but like 2NE1.
2NE1, yeah.
Can we talk about that for a hot second? Like 2NE1, they just released what is this? Like
it's just a photo shoot.
And everyone's
all four
like,
of them together.
Are they going to perform again? Are they going to put out a song together or something?
We would only hope. If they had enough time to just like hang out for an hour and take some photos, maybe they could throw a track together.
Or just do like a nostalgic performance for us, like Gen 2
At least.
fans or something.
Because this is specifically for their 15th anniversary. Like, Come Back Home turned 10 this year, which is crazy.
It's always funny hearing about like this thing that you consumed while you were in like high school or college that was referencing something like, like a generation or two prior or a decade or two prior. And then you looking at now where we are today, that the distance between us and that thing in high school is further than that thing in high school and what it was satirizing and like, making fun of like the 80s or the 70s or something. Like we're farther away than but the thing was copying. Anyway, yeah. So
I am Daebak on 2NE1 Reunion.
Yeah. Same. But going back to NewJeans and jeans, I think Alexa said it with a concept board concept.
Oh, 100%.
A comment. Yeah.
Yeah, because there was a NewJeans, and then there was also a Japanese girl group that came out in the 90s that also had a similar aesthetic. Who knows? Maybe they had jeans on their mood board. I'm not sure which one debuted first.
But like, in other words, jeans successfully hit what 90s, 2000s, even some 80s, looked like. And so they got the vibe right.
Yeah.
Such that it could be confused with actual idols of its time.
Yeah. So going back to the root of it, of the Minhee plagiarism, or at least claiming that NewJeans is such a unique concept that it had been plagiarized by Islet. We'll see where that goes. That's like one little sub part to this whole ADOR versus HYBE situation.
Like NewJeans list from the aggregated concept of like young girls in like the 90s and 2000s. And Islet copies from NewJeans. So is that fair territory? Like, how much copying is too much copying?
Well, according to Minhee, it's too much.
Because they're just exploiting all her hard work of representing that concept in the K-pop package.
Without her making money from it.
Yeah. Because Minhee paved the way for HYBE and Islet to, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, this makes me want to listen to Jean's music.
Right? If anything, I've discovered a new 90s girl group that I hadn't heard before.
Yeah.
That's the fun thing about the plagiarism accusations. It already leads you to other stuff that you would order like. Because it's the same.
All right, Michaela, kick us off with the Daebak or Not section.
Yeah, so Daebak or Not, guys, is our glass half full / glass half empty section where we list a thing and then go around saying how we feel about it in whichever context we choose to interpret that thing. We're going to start off with our Daebak or Not music comebacks from this week because even though your last comeback was 2 weeks ago, it's called a comeback in K-pop. So our first comeback from this week is the 17 performance unit song Spell. Are we Daebak or Not on this?
I don't know, Michaela. Tell me how I'm supposed to feel about this. Like, I'm getting like Afro beats.
Yes, definitely.
And this, like, that's a thing now. Like Afro beats and K-pop. Like, that's a 2024 trend for sure. It's light, it's airy.
As a full comeback, I'm gonna say not, but I am very Daebak on like this aesthetic for the performance unit. Like they look like gorgeous mermaids. I don't know. Like there's glitter, there's like white, there's like flowy things, there's like water aesthetic. Like I love that. The song, not so much. It's just I feel like it's more just like copy paste, smarter, copy paste, Tyler's water.
Yeah. Almost similar outfits, right?
Yeah.
So wait. I didn't quite catch it. So you said you were Daebak on
not officially on this one.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll be not too then.
Okay, so are we...
I'll jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah. Are we Daebak or Not on IVE's Ascendio? Right?
Yeah. I guess. I don't know.
I'm Daebak on this one. I like it better than the title.
Title being Hey Ya.
Hey Ya, yeah.
Hey Ya is the better song, but this is like the way superior concept and story. Like I like K-pop music videos like this, like where like it takes you on an adventure, and like it kind of reminds me of like Girls' Generation O versus Run Devil Run, where it's like it was a thing in Gen 2 for a while to be like, okay, now dark concept, like evil dark concept nemesis, and you've got that in this. It's like, okay, now I've dark concept nemesis. They're battling the dark versions of themselves, so I like it a lot. It's really fun. I don't like the sound effects that they like. I know, like for example, like the heart is beating, but I don't need to hear it. And I don't need to have that sound effect overlay on top of the music. Just let me hear the music. I don't need to hear all these.
Yeah, and there's like a random like screech somewhere in there too that really threw me off.
A screech from.
I don't know exactly what was making that sound.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Michaela.
Oh no.
Bright or dark? Which side are you on for IVE?
It has to be bright. I don't know. Like I would go other places for my dark concepts. Like this is great. I love it.
I'm pro dark.
Oh damn.
Because I think I get more character, more personality out of them when they're showing their dark sides, versus their light side. They're just like Kamachai's Aegyo smiles. Like the dark side, it's like I'm seeing more personality.
That is kind of like what put them on the map though. Like so like when I think of an IVE, I think of a bright concept first. Even though I know they are able to do a darker concept, I feel like they're still a newer group. Like I feel like they still need to evolve into their brighter side before they can like really pull off a darker concept, I think, in my opinion. Or at least like what we associate as a darker concept.
Okay, so I guess we're Daebak, both Daebak on this?
Yes.
Double Daebak, maximum Daebak on I've SNDO. Okay. Wait, did you understand really quick? Did you understand like what happened? Because I'm still a little lost, but I enjoyed it.
Maybe in a week it'll all make sense.
Like it was counting down. They had a fight to hold the staff to get its power.
Yeah.
And then like in the final countdown, they put it in the refrigerator. And they went to check back 2 minutes later. They were 2 minutes too late, and it's no longer there. And a small girl picks it up at a beach somewhere.
My only hope is there like another B-side music video that'll help explain everything.
Yeah, maybe Sailor Moon themed, right?
Ooh, yeah. Again, light concepts. Come on.
Battling a dark concept version, right? I don't know who the the antagonists were in Sailor Moon, but anyway. Okay, are you Daebak or not on Nayeon and her comeback? Are we doing the album as a whole, I guess? Nah?
Well,
What?
we've only have the album trailer.
Yeah, and then some concept photos.
Yeah, and the concept. So like, are we Daebak or not on this little teaser that we got? Because it's like, it's Nayeon. Like she's the center of Twice. Like I don't. There's no way I'm no universe where I'm a not on anything that she does. But I guess I'm a Daebak on everything that I've seen. But you're leaning with the
I don't know. I guess sure. I'll be Daebak. Her concept photos made me think she was like Jessie for a hot second.
Oh damn! Is it what specific? What is it? Just the hair? Like what?
The hair and the lips and the complexion. Okay. Like it was like she went to the same surgeon as Jessie. Like. Obviously not the same, but like I mean, like Yeah,
it is like a slightly different color palette than we've seen. But I don't know. When I watched the album trailer, it was still very Nayeon. It didn't feel like she was doing something like completely 180 from what she's done before. I
didn't see the trailer until just now, but when I was looking at the concept image, I was like, wow, this is a different look. It's still Nayeon, but it was just Jessie vibe. Okay, so what? So we're all Daebak on that.
I am Daebak, yeah.
Okay, I'll be Daebak, sure. Yeah, me too. Okay, Daebak or not on XG's Woke Up.
It's It's a confused Daebak. I really need to see more of these visuals because we've got like this weird where the wild things are outfits that we're seeing in silhouette in this teaser. I'm very curious what those look like when the lights are on.
And like everyone has grills in their mouth with the fangs. Yeah, the metal fangs. And then there was another teaser trailer of one of the members just shaving her head.
Yeah, I think that's Kokona. Oh, I mean, we'll have to see. So far, everything is what I've heard has been Daebak, and the visuals are pretty cool. I think it's not necessarily anything that we haven't really seen before from XG as far as like their level 1000 concepts and visuals.
Level 1000, what does that mean?
Well, just, there's a lot going on.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just one thing. There's definitely a clear mix of things going on here.
I am very Daebak on this being different. You know, it's really like, I don't know. I feel like it's being disruptive, moving the needle for K-pop. You know, the fact that,
as a whole, you mean, or
XG as a whole, but also this concept. It's very like unfamiliar. You know, like as much as like at times K-pop tries to be like wonderful treasure find. What the heck am I watching?
Yeah,
like this still managed to do that again for people who might even be used to thinking that way with K-pop. So
yeah,
I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, actually as a whole, especially from somebody who was mostly in the K-pop side of the things and doesn't necessarily go over to the J-pop side of things because it's just a whole nother world out there that's, you know, kind of hard to get into at times. Like XG, what they're doing is very refreshing.
Yeah, that's this J-pop group disrupting the K-pop industry. Mm-hmm. Really interesting. Yeah, and we didn't even include them in our like year-end episode that one year just because they were like J-pop. But now all I play at my DJ gigs are XG. So really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you now? Oh, go ahead.
No, it's okay. It's a tangent.
No, go for it.
Well, no, it's just
tangent away.
I've been having conversations with other K-pop journalist people about XG and like these, you know, more Japan-based groups coming onto the scene, especially like groups similar to XG that are like, you know, doing more of like a K-pop thing where like everybody gets a verse and they're all singing in English. So they're like going for the international as well, and it's so interesting because they kind of have to come at it from a K-pop lens, or at least like trying to get at these K-pop markets, because at least from an international perspective, like J-pop and like whatever the equivalent of Japanese Hallyu is, it's not new English friendly, and it's definitely not new fan friendly. Like there's not really the kind of like infrastructure, at least that we have on the K-pop side, where it's really accessible, especially for people who are English speakers. Like there's more of a barrier to entry, and even when it comes to promoting, like it's not as simple to just promote a Japanese group in English versus a K-pop group.
Yep. Yeah, I'm completely with you there. K-pop has become like the new model, right? Of like pop music, period. Like just how the paradigm of building, training talent, promoting talent, marketing concepts and comebacks, and mobilizing fandoms. Yeah,
and specifically when it comes to mobilizing fandom, we have a more, I feel like, compared to J-pop fandom, I feel like there's a little bit more of a gatekeepingness to the scene versus like what completely. We get with K-pop fandom.
Yeah, and like to your point on infrastructure, there's all the, you know, systems in place, podcasts even, that will talk about these comebacks, if you will. Yeah, to carry on with your tangent, if you'll permit me. Like I think it goes down to, my theory is that it goes down to the original business models of these markets. So K-pop, it's very like in Gen 2 in the YouTube era, relied on international markets to help monetize and spread a word. And that's why they had all these like English verses, and they went through efforts to translate a lot of things so that it would be better understood and picked up by international media and whatnot. Whereas J-pop, I mean, you even look at this in a lot of like Japanese like social media platforms and whatnot, where the Japanese industries feel like their own domestic market is enough. Mm-hmm. And for music, that was absolutely true, because the only place where people were buying music in the world was Japan. So, they had all the financial evidence to show that model worked, of just like, hey, let's just focus on our core market and deliver that core market more than anything else. And if we're going to release a music video on YouTube, we're not going to show the whole video. We're only going to show a teaser of it. Because we can monetize the full video and make people buy that on like a physical media. And so from a business model perspective, for the Japanese market, who is used to that paradigm, that made a ton of sense. I think that was like, playing to like quarterly earnings and not looking at the bigger picture of like, what is this gonna mean for your fandom, like 4 or 5 years down the line? And I think we're seeing the effects of that now, where they're not having the ongoing scalability and success that a K-pop idol in similar conditions would. So I think they could have had their cake and eat it too. I think they could have had like Japanese acts that sold local albums, but still enabled international media to cover and talk about and do more frequent international tours. But I don't know. That's easy for me to say as a listener. Obviously, I don't have all the insider stuff, but
right. Again, it's we're a K-pop podcast, not a gym. But yeah, that's why the XG is so cool, guys.
Bringing it back home. Thanks, Michaela. Yeah, keeping us on topic. Okay. What's next? Okay, so Dayblocker news, sensational item stuff. So this is where we're getting to our more tabloidy side, even though we already did that, I guess, in the upfront part of this episode. So
slow music week, heavy news week this week.
Yeah, right. So are you Dayblock or not, Michaela? Kong Daniel filing a lawsuit against major shareholders of his own agency, Connect Entertainment.
I am Dayblock on this, but it's even mentioned in the article that this was a really tough decision for him to make personally. Though when you look at all the things that they're putting out, it's like, why? Yeah, I totally support that. They were forging his signature. They were taking money from the company account. They were taking money from his personal account. They were creating these corporate cards and putting charges for things that didn't exist. Like the fact that, he, like, again, and we're talking about like not just like that, like millions of dollars being taken from him and his company and his artists under his label. It's really cool to see him really kind of like come up as like the CEO of this company. I think when we think about Kang Daniel, we mostly think of him as the artist first. So it's really cool to see him make this move as far as like a business person.
Yeah. Well, I'm not over the fact that he had to do it. Mm-hmm. I'm also not on why does this seem to keep happening in K-pop? Like, I'm sure it happens over here too, but like, I feel like I'm always hearing about someone stealing someone else's money, agencies not being managed well, and a lot of corruption and embezzlement and I don't know, stuff happening. Yeah. Why does this keep happening?
Right. And so at the end of the day, my only hope again is that him and like the other artists and other people at this company come out better from this situation, especially if this person has been stealing so much from them. Like other artists at this label are like solo artist Chancellor and Yuju from G-Friend, CL for a second, and the dance crew We Dem Boys is also under his label. So there are still like a lot of people that would be hurt if this went bad.
Next item. Are you Daebak or not on K-pop band P1 Harmony pitting a Western spin on suiting ACM 2024 awards red carpet with dazzling embellishments? So like what are these like Koreans doing at a country music show basically?
I'm Daebak if this means we're gonna get more country K-pop crossover, because there are so many songs that are basically country songs that exist within the K-pop space that I would love to see them actually like working with other artists or maybe artists that they've met at this event. But I'm not on their outfits. I don't know, maybe it's because the Met Gala just happened, but I feel like they could have done better.
So their outfits, like what? They look like a city person said, like, I want to look like I'm from the South and as a cowboy. And they dress that up. And they actually go to where, actual cowboys roam and live in Texas. And they probably look like, I don't know, actual cowboys are like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think my problem is like it's like that from the top, but from the bottom, like you have all these like more like just like belt buckles for days, like all the way up, all up and down the pants, and then like I don't like the hat that Intak is wearing. It's like it's not like a Stetson. It's like something like different. It's like there's just all these elements that were like that could have done like a little zhuzhing. Kiho looks great though. Kiho, I think he pulled it off the best. But the other members, I feel like they could have worked on their styling a little bit better. But again, happy that they're at the event. Happy they're getting their name out there. P1 Harmony is definitely one of those groups that I put into the next BTS category as far as fourth gen. And I feel like this is like one of those things that you kind of have to do is like somebody to a group to gain more recognition as the West is like to go to these award shows and go to these more Western focused events. Literally Western.
So overall, you're Daebak.
Oh, Daebak, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll be Daebak too. Yeah. It's a little goofy, but like I'm with them appearing in unfamiliar spaces. It's not easy. Like put yourself in the agency's shoes. Like a country western award music show. How can we best capitalize on this, guys? Like. How do you do, fellow country stars? Like, I
Is that what you hear when you see the like them at this event?
Well, I think they were trying to do something different, in their own style, in their own make not just a taco but a Korean taco, with like kimchi, gochujang, it's like you get these like mashup concepts of like in food and culture, and I feel like that's what they were trying to go for here with this, and I'm all for the mashup. So even if it isn't executed perfectly all the time, so yeah. Also, P1 Harmony, they're certainly from my DJ perspective, they're getting up there. They're popular. They're
right.
Like you've got your ATs, your TXT, Stray Kids. They're all really popular right now. But like the up and coming is definitely P1 Harmony. Like, people dance and recognize to P1 Harmony here in the Bay Area. Okay, moving on. Last category, Daebak or not, miscellaneous section. So everything else that didn't make the cut or that didn't fit neatly into the other categories. So we already talked about 21 photo.
The small good news from this week.
So I guess we're all Daebak on that, 21, getting their photo together.
Yeah.
The other item I just want to throw in, just because it's been talked a bit on our Slack, and I'm seeing it a lot in my social media feeds, is the TXT concert that was here at the Oakland Stadium, like the same stadium that they have the A's baseball team play, the sports ball place. Anyway.
Yeah.
So it was an outdoor stadium where, seating capacity is greater. And they performed. And a lot of people said TXT did an amazing job. Like, it was a particularly good concert, according to Bay Area K-pop fans. So, I don't know. Have you heard anything about it, Michaela?
Other than it just being like a successful tour, and again, obviously what everybody in our Slack has been saying about it, I'm kind of getting FOMO that I didn't get a chance to go check it out. I feel like there have been a lot of like really great tours going on right now that I just don't have the money for. But I'm happy for TXT on having a successful tour this year.
Oh man, just ask for a press pass, Michaela. You can go.
Yeah, but then I gotta get there, and then I gotta find a place to stay, and then like obviously I'm gonna eat food, so that's expensive, especially in the Bay Area.
Yeah, it's not cheap here. You can crash at my place. Like, we're just off the BART. You can take the BART into any Oakland event.
Or my next thing is just to get more K-pop people to come out here to the Central Valley.
Yeah, good luck with that. It depends on, their promoters are looking at audience and people. I don't know. It's a possibility. I think, in terms of like real underserved communities, Sacramento and Davis. Like, according to Spotify last year.
Oh, okay.
Davis was the number one like location in the entire world for like K-pop. So like, Davis like tweeted out or something like, hey, at least we're number one in something. We're number one in like K-pop listeners.
Right.
So maybe Central Valley is truly underserved. I don't know.
I would say so.
Oh, you would.
But I'm biased.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, Daebak on TXT's tour.
Yeah, I'm Daebak on TXT. TXT is like killing it right now. They are like definitely in the top 3 most popular groups here in the Bay Area. Like, I'm playing their B-side songs because they're that popular. Like, I wouldn't play B-side songs for almost anyone else, but TXT, yeah, sure. Okay, that's it for this episode. Let listeners know where they can find you online and all those things. So, I guess I'm going first. I'm at DJ Peterlow. Follow me for K-pop gigs here in the Bay Area and whatnot. PDNM.
Yes, I'm at PDNM on the Kpop Cast Slack. And of course, you can reach all of us on the Kpop Cast Slack.
Also, if you want to consider supporting this show and supporting our editing costs, thank you, Philip.
Yes, thank you, Philip.
Consider donating on our Ko-Fi. We've got a link on that in the episode description. All right.
Okay,
bye,
everybody.
Till next week.
Till the next scandal.
Till the next scandal.
Hopefully we get good news next week. Gosh.
The HYBE Civil War resolves. There comes a new challenger. Like someone like JYP just comes in from out of nowhere in the Civil War scandal and saves the day somehow.
It has to be at this point.
Yeah, buy that for $1. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Got a lot to say, wanna